Here today we're going to tie a DNA gotcha. First thing we're going to do is just start our thread here. And we're going to add a pair of medium silver brass eyes. And you can use whatever color you so desire. I use a lot of silver and black. Once you've got those secure, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some flat pearl diamond braid here, and we're going to tie about 1.5 inches or so of this braid hanging off the back. And I'm just going to wrap back nice and tight with loose spread out wraps here. And I'm just going to take it forward all the way to the eye of the hook. Then I'm going to take that pearl diamond braid and I'm going to wrap down the shank of the hook here all the way to the back, and then I'm going to wrap forward, and I'll kind of taper the body here. I'll do a few more wraps up here near the eyes to kind of gently taper it forward. And I just take that braid and wrap it around the eyes and capture it. Now I can trim out the excess. Now what we're going to do is trim the tail. We want our tail to be about the length of the shank of the hook. And then you can tease out those fibers there. Then what you can do is invert the hook. And now we're ready for our DNA. I usually like to tie with a bit of a blend. I'm going to tie with a little bit of chartreuse and a little bit of shrimp. The other colors I'll mix is I'll mix chartreuse and pink. I'll mix the shrimp and pink. You can really do whatever you want. Just think shrimpy. As far as the pinks, the oranges, the tans, clears. And I just cut off a couple nice long strips. And I'm going to lay them next to each other here. And all I'm going to do is just mix the chartreuse and the shrimp together. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the DNA, and it's about 10 inches long or so, and I'm going to tie it right in the middle of the clump here. So I have 5 inches hanging off the back and 5 inches hanging off the front. Then I'm just going to take the portion that's hanging off the front and I'm just going to wrap back up onto it. Just like so. Now we're ready for the legs, and for this fly I'm going to use some clear kind of pepper speckled crazy legs. I'm going to tie these in on one side of the hook. I tie 2 in, and I'll tie 2 in on the other side. And I can trim out the excess on the legs. Now all we're going to do is just kind of clean up the head here with some nice tight thread wraps. And we can now lip finish. Trim out your thread. Trim your legs. I usually like to trim those about twice the length of the shank of the hook. And we can trim our DNA collar here. Just get all these fibers here straightened out. We're going to trim this about twice the length of the hook as well. And I usually like to kind of shave it here and taper it. There we go. That is a DNA gotcha. It's a very, very effective bonefish fly. When this fly gets wet, it looks very, very good. When it's dry, it doesn't really necessarily do it justice. but does a very good job at catching bonefish. It has just the right amount of flash, translucency. Really, the translucency is the key to this fly. Once it gets wet, it kind of looks like a translucent shrimp. And to finish off the fly, I usually take my brush on Zap-A-Gap here, and I'll just coat the entire pearl body and also the entire head. I'll make sure to get quite a bit there in the eye as well, or on the eyes, those brass eyes. That's all there is to the DNA Bonefish Gotcha, and you can get all the materials for this fly at intheriffle.com.